I'm going to show how to graph quadratic equations using some key information, and also I'm going to show the meaning of the vertex using some applications. Okay, so let's get started. So if I was going to just graph an equation, usually I just pick whatever x values I want and then figure out those y values. Okay, so here, since it's a function, the input would be whatever I chose for x. So that would be x equals 0. Put that in, plus 4 times 0 plus 3. We would just get 3 there. Okay, and then we could just keep going and evaluate this. Let's see, we would get, that would be 8. And then here we would get 2 squared plus 4 times 2 plus 3. So we would get 4 plus 8 plus 3. That'd be 12, 15. So 0, 1, 2, 3. And then 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The problem is my numbers are just getting really large. Over by 3 I need to be way up at 15, which is somewhere up here. And I'm not seeing very much of what this graph looks like. If this is a squared term, there's your quadratic, and a quadratic has a parabola, a U shape, and we need to see that whole thing. Here I've just got, you know, one steep part of, like, I'm just looking at this little section of the graph. I need to see the whole thing. The key is to go in here to the lowest point if it's opening up. That's the vertex. If we can figure out that point and then just graph a few points nearby, then we'll get a good sense of what this graph looks like. So instead of just randomly going in there and picking whatever x is like we usually do with an equation, we're just going to start with a vertex and then choose some x's nearby. Okay, so let me show you how that works. I'll erase all this stuff. All right, so the vertex is given by this formula. The x value of a vertex is negative b over 2a when we're looking at a quadratic equation in standard form. So in this case, a is the 1, that's the coefficient of x squared, and b is the coefficient of x, so in this case, b is 4. Okay, so the vertex is going to be the opposite of b, which is negative 4, over 2 times a, which is 1. So we would get negative 4 over 2, which is negative 2. That's the x value. The y value, we just are going to plug that number we just found, just plug that right into your function and figure out the output. Okay, so in that goes. And so we would get, just plug that into the equation, negative 2 squared plus 4 times negative 2 plus 3, and we're just working out the output there. So we'd get 4 minus 8 plus 3, which would be negative 4 plus 3, which is negative 1. Okay, so if we start here at the vertex, then we can just work on some points nearby. So I'm going to do some points smaller, some x values smaller than that x value of the vertex, and some x values bigger. That's the key to making a graph of a quadratic equation very efficiently. So start with your vertex. Okay, and remember, a vertex is an ordered pair. If we were asked to write down, well, what is the vertex? There's the ordered pair. All right, now let's work out the rest of our numbers. We need to do, when x is negative 1, we'll plug that one in, so I would have negative 1 squared plus 4 times negative 1 plus 3, so I'd get 1 minus 4 plus 3, that would be 0. And we'll do the next one, f of 0, we would get 0 squared plus 4 times 0 plus 3. There you go. Notice that is the c value. Okay, and when we go to plot that, 0, 3, that's the y-intercept. Haha, so the y-intercept is my favorite. It's the easiest to do. You put in 0 for x, and the output is the c value. All right, I'm going to start plotting some of these points. Negative 2, negative 1, negative 1, 0. Okay, we need to have a couple more just here when f is negative 3. We would get negative 3 squared plus 4 times negative 3 plus 3. 9 minus 12 plus 3. And that's 0. And one more, f of negative 4. We want to plot at least 5 points to get a good high quality graph of a parabola. So let's see, negative 4 squared plus 4 times negative 4 plus 3 gives us 16 minus 16 plus 3. So that would be 3. And then I just show the graph there. I need to show a nice smooth parabola. Okay, so there you have it. There is a nice high quality graph of a parabola. We want to really clearly indicate what the y-intercept is and also what the x-intercepts are. That point is, let's see, negative 1, 0. The other x-intercept was at negative 3, 0, and the vertex, we already had written that down, but that's at negative 2, negative 1. Okay, so that's what's needed for a high quality graph. We need to show all of our intercepts, the y-intercept as well as the x-intercepts. There's our x-intercepts and the vertex. We might be asked to find the domain and range, which we can do. The domain is just all reals. From negative infinity to infinity is just a nice smooth curve going with arrows on, going on in both directions. So those any x value you come up with, I can show you a place on the graph. The range is really affected by the vertex. When this graph opens up, then we start at the minimum place, that's the vertex. So we start at the y value there, which in this case is negative 1. And then we head up any y value above that vertex, I can find a place on the graph. So there's domain and range. Now, there's sometimes where the x-intercept doesn't just happen to fall out on my graph and to my plate, just happen to show up. So if you need to find your x-intercepts, what you can do is just solve your function, set it equal to 0, because the output there, to be a x-intercept, you need the y value to be 0. You need the output of your function to be 0 with a y value of 0. Okay, so you'd solve your function when it's set equal to 0. And let me show you an example of that. The square root of, the vertex is really important for graphing. It gives us the most efficient place to start. There's also some really important applications involving vertex, because the vertex is either a maximum value if our quadratic is it has a leading coefficient that's negative, or it's a minimum value if our leading coefficient is positive. So that's going to really be helpful for us as we're trying to figure out some applications. For example, if we have a quarterback who's throwing a football with an initial height of 5 feet at a velocity of 72 feet per second, the height of the ball can be modeled by this function, h of t equals negative 16t squared plus 30.4t plus 5, where h of t is the height in feet and t is the time in seconds after release. So we could figure out the time at which the ball is at its maximum height. Here, notice we've got a leading coefficient that's negative, which makes sense because if you throw a ball starting here at 5 feet, it's going to go up, 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 and then it is going to come back down because we're on Earth and gravity is affecting it. So it's always going to come back down. So if we wanted to know what is this time at when the ball has its maximum height, that's what we're being asked to find, and that's a vertex question. All right, and so now instead of an x value, I'm using t values, but the formula is the same thing. So I can use the formula x equals negative b over 2a, but if our variable we're using for input is t instead, then it would just be t equals negative b over 2a. Okay, so here we go. Negative b, so negative 30.4 over 2 times a, which is negative 16. So we get negative 30.4 over negative 32, which is about 0.95. So determine the time at which the ball is at its maximum height. That's it, almost 1 second. And then since it's an application, we always just want to write that out as a complete sentence, including our units. All right, one more example. If we have a parking area that's going to be constructed next to a road, so here's our parking, this is our road right here, going along, there's our dash line, there's our road. Okay, and then this right in here is our parking. And the developer has already purchased 340 feet of fencing, and we want to determine the dimensions of the parking lot that would maximize area. Okay, so we don't know what the dimensions are going to be, but we do know that altogether we have 340 feet. And so since this is going to be a rectangular, I should have written that in there. It's going to be a rectangular parking lot. So then we take how much fencing we have and subtract out how much we've used so far, which is 2x. Then the area is equal to length times width. So x times 340 minus 2x. There's our function of area in terms of x. So distributing that x, we would get 340x minus 2x squared, and I'm just going to write that with my x squareds coming first. So 340x. And now I need to maximize area. I want to maximize area, so that's a vertex question. Okay, the x would be negative b, so negative 340 over 2a, which is negative 2. So it would be negative 340 over negative 4, which is 85. So this x value is 85, and then the width there would be 340 minus 2 times 85, that's 170. 340 minus 170 is 170. So the dimensions here are 85 feet by 170. And then we could figure out the area. That would be 85, it's length times width, so 85 times 170, which is 14,450. So the area is 14,450 square feet. And we could just do a quick little double check. When you put 85 in for x, so it's negative 2 times 85 squared plus 340 times 85. And that does work. We get that same maximized area. All right, so the critical information here, vertex, that's the place we start when we're graphing a quadratic, and that's also where we need to go to if we're maximizing or minimizing a quadratic equation.